Hey, I'm going to tell you some facts about me. Now, normally when someone gives facts about themselves, it's because they have been tagged to do so. I haven't been tagged. I'm just volunteering this. So this is some things about me so that you can understand me more when I bring you my vlogs. So, first off, I don't express myself very well. I've always had a problem with that. As a young person and as an adult, I have a hard time expressing myself, portraying just what I mean, and that has always led to misunderstandings. Just like this morning in my journey vlog, I guess I came across to people as once again complaining because I'm not losing weight. Well, I did explain that it bothered me, but when I gave about how much I had lost and my measurements and stuff, I was just the same as telling you that I am amazed at how well I have done, and therefore it's an inspiration for me to continue going. So I have a hard time expressing myself. I always did have. Another thing about me is I was born December 30th of 1971, and I am very, very fond of the year 1971. Not because of anything that happened during that year, but just because I'm proud of it. I'm also one of those that I love having gray hair. The only reason why I color my hair, it's not to cover up the gray, but it's so that I've got volume, because with no color in my hair is just limp. There's no volume, no body, and I like having my natural wave. So for some reason, coloring my hair allows my hair to all of a sudden be nice and bouncy. So that's why I color my hair. If I had the volume that I like to show off my waves and stuff, I wouldn't color my hair. I'd just let the gray show. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that goes, oh no, I've got a gray hair, I've got to color my hair. No, not me. I love my gray hair. I just wish that I had the body that is natural to my hair with the gray. And I don't know why it is that dye causes my hair to have the volume that it naturally has without the gray, but it does. Go figure that, huh? My eyes aren't really blue, they're gray. But they've got a hint of blue to them. My brother also has gray. My mom has brown hazel, and my dad has sky blue. So me and my brother was blessed with beautiful gray. I love my gray eyes. I'm 47. I'm going to be 48 in December, of course, as I told you when I was born. And I am one of those oddballs that looks forward to getting another year older. Once again, like everybody else wants to reverse their age, I like aging. Very strange. I am an Ohioan. I was born in Ohio, and so yes, Ohioans are Buckeyes, and I am a proud shareholder of the Buckeye State. Not monetized, of course, just a born citizen. I lived in Kentucky from the age of 8 to the age of 42. So even though I was born in Ohio, I know more about Kentucky. My dad happens to be a born and raised hillbilly, but not the stereotype hillbilly that everybody looks at them as. He was just born and raised in the hills, basically. mom is an Ohioan as well. I've only got one sibling, my brother, and I'm older than him 4 years. I've been married 4 times. Yes, you heard that right. 4 times. Twice to my first husband, twice to my now husband. I have had 3 last names, one being my maiden name, the other 2 names being my married name. I have a very small name. Without my last name, my name is only 7 letters. I love classic cars. My goodness, I like the hot rods and the real oldie oldies, like the old Woodies and the old T models, and I love classic cars. I don't care if it's an early 80 to the very first that was ever put on the conveyor belt. I don't care. I love classic cars. And I have been so fortunate lately to see a lot of them here. I love it. I am fascinated with old places, especially places that has got a history to them. Or like when I go hiking and I find old foundations, I'm fascinated by that and I want to know what's the story behind it. The one part that I had showed off to you all, I had said I had experienced hauntings with me, which was more just a demon following me around. But I have tried digging into that to find out why or what. And I can't find no history on it other than that there used to be a golf course right beside the park. So I have no idea about that, but I'm one of those. I like to dig. I like to find out just what is what and why. I graduated high school. I hated school. I hated it. I went to Christian school for 7th and 8th grade and went back to public school in 9th grade, but finished the rest of my high school years out back at the Christian school. So the education that I had gotten at the Christian school was a little differently done than at the public school, but nonetheless I managed to make passing grades. My excellence was in spelling, and I greatly enjoyed history, and I love to read, and math is my worst. Even though I had to go back over my multiplications, I still don't have them nailed. And long division, forget it. I did horrible with long division. Just saying. Anyway, naturally my hair is a golden brown. Naturally. It got darker as I got older before it started completely turning gray. I had my first gray hair in my bank, and I can still find that first gray hair. I got it in 9th grade and was proud of it. It was my trophy. I have maybe about 5 scars or so on my body, not including the stretch marks from having my children. And I carry every scar with a sense of pride, so to speak. I don't know why. I don't have a problem with the scars on my body. They don't bother me. One of them is a chickenpox scar. Another is I had fell once bringing an ivory tree down out of the hill, and it scratched me. Another one was when I was trying to burn some electrical wire so I could cash the copper in. Don't worry, I didn't steal the copper. It was my own wire. It was old extension cord that was no longer good. It was frayed real bad. Anyway, it flipped out of the fire and burnt me. Another one was from a oil pop when I was cooking. So yep, I've got some scars. I've got one tattoo, a butterfly, on my ankle. Any of you have watched me exercise, you have seen it. I don't have anything against tattoos, but I'm not wanting a whole mess of them myself. I'm only wanting a rose on my shoulder, and I'm wanting written underneath it, Jesus is the Rose of Sharon, and that's it. Will I ever get that? Probably not. If I do, you'll see it. Anyway, my color, I like all kinds of colors, especially if they are metallic or sparkle. I'm not too keen on green or just regular blue. But I do love teal green, which happens to be my birthstone. I love blue zirconia, which is my birthstone, which comes out to be teal. So I have got a few pieces of jewelry that has got the blue zirconia, and I really like that. I guess for one, because it's a beautiful color, and when it's frosted or metallic flaked, it looks even better. I love playing board games like Chinese checkers. I like doing mahong tiles a little bit, not all that much, just sometimes. But yeah, I do like board games. I like trying to play Scrabble, even though I do not have a large array of large words in this brain. So anybody can beat me on Scrabble. I do not have that kind of mind. But I love trying to play it. I love playing Monopoly. I like playing the game of life. I like playing card games. As a child, I hated hide and seek. I liked hiding. I hated seeking. I don't like to color. I really hate coloring. I attempted to color today and got one flower colored out of an entire page. That was it. That's all I could stomach. But I love to paint. As I said, I love to read. My favorite to read is Christian fiction. I love reading fiction, Christian fiction. My favorite authors is Terry Blackstock, Frank Peretti, and Ted Dekker. Those are my favorite authors. Of course, you know that I'm trying to lose weight. My biggest weight, 232. The least I'd ever weighed was 136. Anyway, of course, I already shared with you I've had 3 children. One getting ready to turn 28, the other 20, and the other 16. So relatively their ages is 27, 19, and 16. My 16-year-old just turned 16 in March. Anyway, and I've got a granddaughter who's getting ready to turn 9. They're all trying to catch up to me. They may succeed, because I'm not growing up in my mind yet. Anyway, I stand at 5'5". I love watching birds. My goodness, I love watching birds. It thrills me to no end to see a large array of birds come in. And that's one reason why I enjoy having bird seed out, because it invites all kinds of species to come in. So far I've had a mourning dove come in to eat, a blue jay, chickadees, a painted bunting, 3 sets of cardinals, some finches, and who knows what else is going to be coming in. So that's my favorite pastime, watching birds. I also like butterflies. I love butterflies. I think butterflies represents God's grace. I was born again in 1984 at the age of 12. And even though I have slipped and slided in my Christianity, I've never completely let go of my Lord. But like a lot of other people, made mistakes and had to greatly repent. Other than that, I haven't let him go. I have moved over 15 times. I think I had calculated it once, mentioning all the times that I'd moved. If I remember right, it was even over 40 times, but I'm not positive. I don't remember now. But I have moved a lot, and I tell you what, I'm actually tired of moving. Being here in Texas since 2014, I have moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times since 2014. 6 times on top of the many times prior. Remarkably, I hadn't lost everything that I'd ever possessed, surprisingly, even though I've just about have. I love to laugh, but unfortunately I don't find very many things to laugh about, because at the same time I'm a sourpuss. Unfortunately, I do make a stab at jokes, but they fall short because I just don't know how to make them, apparently. I guess ever since I've been a young person, I've somewhat been boring, so therefore never really attracted very many friends or folks. And it even reflects on my YouTube channel, because I don't get very much traffic. But that's okay. That's okay, because I'm still establishing myself. I have been doing YouTube now since February of last year, so I'm still establishing myself, and I know a lot of people who had been doing YouTube even longer than that, and they're just now reaching 1,000 subscribers. So it takes time for some people, and other people it seems like they're instantaneous. Wow. One particular who found me when I had experienced OMAD for the first time, C-Dub. When I first ran over to his channel, he had just over 200 subs. And in the 2.5 months that I've been doing OMAD, he's already over 800 subs. Wow. So some has that magnetic pull, others don't. Could be because nobody wants to watch a daily journal of the weight loss progress. They rather hear how they succeeded, not how they are succeeding, or how long it takes them to succeed, or, you know. Anyway, but my channel isn't just about weight loss either. It's also about exploring parks and attractions, and about painting and general vlogs. So yeah, unfortunately the only thing that I seem to have a steady foot in is my weight loss. But that's only because I'm limited on where I can go here. I've already hit a lot of parks, and so now it's just to the point the parks are further out, or I have to pay to enter. But when we go to visit my family, there are some new filmings that I'm going to be presenting to you all. You're going to be getting a general idea of where I used to live. So that will be a nice touch to my channel. I have done way over 550 videos so far. I deleted about 20 when I first started doing YouTube. So really, I've done closer to 600. That's a lot of videos. And that's just how much I love doing these. I don't have very much of an imagination, even though I was always able to pretend with my Barbie dolls and with my Matchbox cars. Yes, I had my own collection of Matchbox cars. Not as many as my brother had. My brother at one time had close around 100. Me, I might have only had about 6 or 7 at the most at one time. But at the time, I was able to pretend very well with my Barbies and my cars. Now, I don't seem to have any kind of imagination. I love kids, but I don't know how to act around them. I love older people, but I don't know how to act around them. I love people in general, but don't know how to act around them. You could say I am an introvert, but there are some things that categorizes me as an extrovert. So I'm one of those kind of verts that's in between. I'm closer to introvert than I am extrovert, unfortunately. I suffer from benign tremors, and it seems to be on my left side. I have no real control over my left hand, especially when I'm trying to paint my nails. Sometimes when you see me shaking my head, it's because I have no control over my head. I can't keep it from jerking and rocking and shaking. I do the best I can, and it seems like I can keep my head still by holding it in a certain angle. Unfortunately, because my head does shake, sometimes when someone's talking to me, they think I'm shaking my head. No, and I'm not. It's just my head. Can't help it. Some people are still getting used to that, including me. I've been suffering from benign tremors now for maybe about 15-20 years. A lot of it came from my marriage, but the majority of it from nerve damage. I had fell on my head and stuff, so some of those instances just came from accidents. Anyway, in the long run, it ended up causing me to have the shakes. Some of it being hereditary, some of it being from head trauma, unfortunately. I hate working with my hair, but I rather have my hair about the length it is right now than to have a boy cut, a bob, because I love the natural wave in my hair when it behaves. I just hate trying to get that to come out. I hate that. I love wearing makeup, but I really don't like applying it. I love keeping long nails and painting them. I can strip my nails and think to myself, okay, I'm going to let them have a resting period. I'm not going to paint them for a while. And the next day I paint them. I've also got a bad habit of peeling the paint off after a little less than a week. Because like when you do dishes, you know, that loosens up the polish, and then the polish starts lifting up off the nails and I start picking away. It's better that I don't ever feel my nails, because if I feel them and they're loose, there they go. I have no control over myself. None. I have 2 piercings, both ears, and that came about as kind of like, not a dare, but when my oldest daughter was 15 years old, she wanted to get her ears pierced again. They were pierced the first time at the age of 4. So she wanted them pierced again. And I told her, I said, okay, I tell you what, if you want your ears pierced a second time, I'm going to get mine pierced a second time as well. So we both went and had our ears pierced a second time. I got mine done at the age of 8. The first ear being done, I couldn't hardly stomach it, and I was so traumatized by it that they couldn't pierce my second ear right away. So my parents took me around to get me a soda for me to calm down, and then when I calmed down, they took care of the other ear. My daughter, at the age of 4, because I told her it would hurt, they pierced both ears and she didn't even cry. Not tough like her mom, is she? Anyway, when I was a child, I had hair down to my belt line, and it was very hard to maintain because of all the natural rave, and it was so thick. I always ended up getting rats in my hair. And I'm not talking about the little fur babies. I'm talking about tangled messes of hair. Sometimes they were so big that you couldn't brush them out. You had to actually cut them out. So, like, because my dad was raised believing that a woman couldn't cut the hair, he never allowed me to have my hair cut. So Mom would trim it just to keep it somewhat healthy. After I was married, I'd been married maybe around 10 years or so. Finally, I thought, hey, I'm going to cut my hair. And there it went. And I've not had it long since. So, and Dad hasn't said anything to me against it. So, anyway, it's easier to maintain. It really is, especially seeing that I don't like having to handle my hair. It's easier to maintain short. Anyway, my movie genres, I like inspirational. I like horror movies, okay? But I'm moving further and further away from them because I'm finding them to be boring. Not to mention, a lot of them, there's too much nasty that goes on in them. And I'm not talking about blood and gore. I'm talking about permissive sex and cussing. That destroys a movie. I like action movies. I like, on the whole part, I think my favorite movies are movies that's based on true events or true stories. Those are the most fascinating to me, probably because they're more realistic. I like to exercise, but I'm too lazy. So I wanted y'all to get to know me a little better so that you can understand me behind my videos instead of me somewhat being a mystery. Like any other human being, I do make mistakes, unfortunately, but that doesn't make no difference. I'm forgiven. God still loves me. I'm still precious in His eyes as everybody else that He ever created. All human beings are precious in His eyes. He might not like what we do, but we are all precious to Him. Anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this, and if you can relate to anything that I mentioned, let me know in the comments below. Like how you feel about things and your favorite colors, if you like games and whatnot. Oh, another thing. It took a while for me to learn how to drive manual shift, but once I did, I fell in love with it. I prefer driving standard, even though I drive an automatic. I would absolutely love to have another standard vehicle, because I love driving manual shift. As a kid, I used to like to pretend that I was a superhero. I would like to wear like high-heeled boots and act like I flied. Every person's dream. I also would act like I was a cat, which happens to be that I love cats over dogs. I like dogs, but I love cats. And I can also talk somewhat cat. And me and Catherine understands each other quite a bit. Anyway, guys, she's in here now, wanting to be close to me. She's my sidekick. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. And I hope that you can understand me a little bit more now. At least you know a little bit more about me. And I will see you tomorrow.